Indeed, we are grateful to you, the living God, who has been faithful all these years in the life of this institute. You have brought us to the 15th ceremony to get students that you have processed in this institute passing out. We could not but give you thanks, looking back and see how much you have been faithful in helping us through all challenges and turmoils. Here we are, and we are sure that because you have taken us through, you will also let this ceremony be to your glory. We invoke your presence, O Lord, that the Spirit of the living God come to take over and go through this ceremony with us from this beginning to the end. Therefore, to you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be the glory this day and forever. In Jesus' name, amen.
I, Professor Ablade Glover, Chancellor of the Akrofi-Christaller Institute of Theology, Mission, and Culture, declare the ceremony open. So, thank you.
Chancellor and Council of the Institute, our guest of honor, Prof. Akosua Adomanko Ampof, Moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, heads of churches and other members of the clergy, head of institutions, fellows of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Science, Ananom, Nime, Name, members of the diplomatic corps, faculty staff, alumni, students, and graduates of the Institute, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you all very warmly to this 15th graduation ceremony of the Akrofi-Christaller Institute of Theology, Mission, and Culture. The previous graduation ceremony, which was originally scheduled for 5th December 2020, was rescheduled for January 2021 because of the challenges associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic is still with us, but the Lord has made it possible for us to hold the year's ceremony in December 2021. And for this, we are grateful as always. The Lord has been faithful. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here this morning to give thanks to the Lord and celebrate the achievements of our graduates who have worked hard to complete their studies successfully. Several of them are graduating with distinction, and we say, I equal to them all. Graduates, the Lord brought you to the Institute for a purpose. It's our hope that you will be courageous stewards who will depend on the Lord to accomplish His purpose for each of you as you serve the people of Ghana on the continent and beyond. We are in challenging times in the world today, and God is counting on us and you to be men and women of courage, humility, integrity, who will be true servants of His people. May the Spirit of the Lord be with you and enable you to serve His people. Thank you, and God bless you all for coming.
Please be seated. Chancellor, it's a pleasure for me to present my address to the 15th Congregation of the Akrofi-Christaller Institute of Theology, Mission, and Culture. Therefore, my beloved, be steadfast, immovable, always excelling in the work of the Lord, because you know that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. Chancellor and Council of the Institute, our guest speaker, moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, I stand on the protocols earlier captured by the Chairman of Council and his address, faculty, staff, alumni, students and graduates of the Institute, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We started the 2020-2021 academic year with much uncertainty. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic was ongoing, and nothing appeared to suggest that the impact of the pandemic would be mitigated anytime soon. We had to reschedule the 2019-2020 graduation ceremony to 9th January this year, but by the grace of God, we remain steadfast in pursuing the new academic year and our efforts. The Lord has brought us to this year's graduation ceremony on schedule. We still face many challenges, but we are nevertheless inspired to remain steadfast, immovable, always seeking to excel in the work of the Lord, assured that in the Lord our labor will never be in vain. It is thus with delight that I share what by God's grace we were able to do over the last academic year, and to say I echo to those whose hard work has not been in vain, but has enabled them to graduate at this ceremony. So, as I speak to my address, I begin with the running of our programs. We had put in measures to enable us to continue with our ministry in the face of the pandemic, but we had to remain steadfast in our efforts. The experience with the earlier impact of the pandemic enabled us to keep focused and see through our programs and various activities for the academic year. Our degree programs. Our challenge with gaining optimum student numbers persisted. There was indeed a drop in student population over the previous years by 7, mainly in the area of the MA program. In seeking to improve our admission levels, our various partners stood by us, supporting our bursary and scholarship efforts. We continue to pray for these partners that by God's grace, they will be steadfast in their support for our continuing efforts. On continuing education programs, we dealt in the last year with the probationary studies from ministerial probationers of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. We had to cancel some of the sessions earlier, but by God's grace, we were able to run some of these sessions on schedule. Seminars, workshops, consultative meetings. Seminars, graduate, doctoral, and faculty, as well as other such activities took place in the year under review. The annual doctoral seminar was rescheduled from last year, and it ran successfully in March in the second semester. The theme of the doctoral seminar was researching biographies, the field, resources, and sources. Some faculty seminars also took place. One was given by the very Reverend Professor Pabna Samwajedu, President of the Trinity Theological Seminary, and another by Dr. Abraham Nganga. There were several faculty consultative meetings. One that took place on 3rd March 2021, for example, focused on work that our continuing education team had done and finalize these programs for approval and implementation. I'm happy to report that the Certificate in Christian Witness and Certificate in Christian-Muslim Relations programs have started running. And we thank the Lord for the team that finalized work on it and for the leadership of the Dean of Continuing Education, Reverend Dr. Solomon Sulesa. On 11th and 21st of June, other faculty consultative meetings took place to thoroughly review the online teaching that the Institute had pursued over a year in the face of the pandemic. We settled on the fact that, yes, we have to go online, but the best route is to proceed in a hybrid mood. So we've continued operating in that mood. We are indebted to our colleagues, the three-member team spearheading this effort. I'm also happy to announce that through the initiative of the Dean of Applied Studies, Professor Philip Lai, the Institute started the Faculty Training Workshop Series meant to help faculty members improve on their ministry. The maiden workshop, which occurred on 10 February 2021, was facilitated by ACI Council member Dr. Araba Sifadede on the theme, How Mental Health Issues Affect the Supervision of Students. Subsequently, resource persons Professor Mary Bediakun, Dr. Udogezi, and Professor Alison Howell led various sessions in this series. The 15th Asante Opoku Rindolph Lecture, run in collaboration with the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, took place on the 4th of November, and the lecture was given by Professor Eric Anu on the theme, Reception History of the Bible Among the Indigenous People of Africa. It was online and chaired by Professor Wellington, a member of the Academy. Reverend Dr. Femi Adele, Director, Institute for Christian Impact, ACI alumnus, and also adjunct faculty member, presented the Mbediaku Memorial Lecture on the Gospel and Christian Witness in the Public Sphere, Perspectives from the Thought of Kwame Mbediaku. And the fourth Paulo Muhenu Memorial Lecture was given by Reverend Dr. Charles Amakwe of Trinity Theological Seminary at the Paulo Muhenu Memorial Congregation at Teshi. It was chaired by the then ACI chaplain and Dean of Students, Reverend Dr. Ernestina Afi. On publications, our usual 2 volumes of the Journal of African Thought came out. Subsequently, Regnum Africa, the publishing arm of ACI, produced other key publications in local languages. The first was the third in the Pao series, this time on Abe, folklore of the Ghana people. And we are indebted to Reverend Professor Lai, who worked assiduously to bring out this third volume, just as he had done with the first 2 volumes. And we are also grateful to Dr. Nee Bonnie Andrews, who raised funds towards this publication. Still on Regnum Africa publications, in 1998, the Institute initiated a project to produce Bible commentaries in Ghanaian languages. This project started with a series of workshops, the first taking place at the Institute in November 1998. The 2 languages chosen to begin the project were P, to focus on the Epistle of James, and Kasem on the Gospel of John. While the efforts of the Chief Fancy project could not be sustained, the Kasem team remained resolute, steadfast, and immovable as they persisted with the project. It is with great pleasure that I announce the publication of John Tono Kumnaberi Koloto. Professor Howard, I don't know whether I have spoken Kasem the way I should, but this is a commentary on the book of John in Kasem, and the first in the new series, Binemeng series, Bible Commentary in African Languages. I'm really delighted in showing a copy of this commentary to all present here. This series is meant to serve mother tongue speakers in their walk with God. We salute the driving force and guiding spirit behind this publication, Professor Alison Howell and her able team of Thomas Abuga, Thomas Pualia, and Roger Ugeru, for also raising the funds to make this publication possible. It is obvious, Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that our steadfastness in pursuing our various programs and activities was not in vain and best our efforts. We do appreciate the fulfillment of this promise that our persistence would bear His glory. Now, our centers and their activities. 3 centers were active during the past year. The Center for Interfaith Studies and Engagement in Africa, CCA, was formally inaugurated on 11th September 2020. The inaugural lecture was given by Reverend Dr. Johnson Mida, who belongs to the center, on the theme called to good neighborliness and constructive engagement with other faiths. The Right Reverend Professor Joe Y. Mante, moderator of the General Assembly of the PCG, was the guest of honor, and he subsequently dedicated the offices of the center. Over the academic year, CCR undertook many different activities. It held interfaith training seminars in both the southern and northern parts of the country, and also held its various annual conferences and symposia. We are grateful to the center staff who served as resource persons, as well as all those who were invited to be resource persons for these programs. The Center for Primal and Christian Spirituality, CPACS, held its major maiden event at the Institute in May earlier this year. This was a Theology and the Arts Symposium with the theme Christian Faith and the Arts in Africa, Bridging the Cultural Divide. We are grateful to the many resource persons who participated in this symposium, and to the chief organizer of the symposium, Dr. Joshua Settles. The Center for the Study of Early African Christianity, CCAC, had its name slightly amended, and in partnership with the Center for Early African Christianity in New Haven, Connecticut, with which it had had a common name, the two together instituted the Walls Odin Bediakun Lecture on Early African Christianity to honor Andrew Walls, Thomas Odin, and Kwame Bediakun. The maiden lecture in this new series was given on 14th April by Professor Andrew Walls on Does Early African Christianity Matter Today? The attendance was overwhelming, with participants from all over the world. This is said to be a biennial series, and we are grateful to the CCAC Director, Dr. Gazy, for such initiatives. On centers then, Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have been active and immovable, and we are grateful to God that in the undertakings of all our centers, their efforts have not been in vain. Now on to our partnerships. The Alliance of Mission Researchers and Institutions, AMRI, initiated by the Oxford Center for Mission Studies and ACI, actually goes live on Monday to be open to Alliance members before the wider public is invited to participate. This is a cloud-based platform meant to facilitate mission studies, research, and practice. And I hope that members of the ACI family will patronize this platform. The Institute also participated in various activities that underscored our partnership with the Presbyterian College of Education, our neighbors, the Gap Presbytery, headed by an adjunct faculty member of the Institute, and also the educational institutions of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, as well as Liverpool Hope University, Infamet, and the Columbia Theological Seminary. Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have been immovably set on the nature of our partnerships and friendships, and we are grateful to the Lord that our efforts in this direction have not been in vain. Our partners have stood by us and will continue to value their friendship and support, even as we hope that through us, the Lord will bless them and make their own efforts fruitful to His glory. Our projects. First, the Library Archives Project. The library project has seen slow but steady progress. The fixing of the elevator, made available through the generosity of Reverend Dr. and Mrs. Bradley of Korea, has been completed. Most of the work undertaken in this phase has been possible through the fundraising efforts of Professor Alison Howe. And it is a great pleasure for me to acknowledge and thank her in person on behalf of the Institute. Alison, thank you very much. Through the ingenuity of the registrar, who doubles as the general overseer of the project, and his colleagues on the project, the amount that we must raise to complete the project has dropped by 150% to about $100,000. We must redouble our efforts to raise this outstanding amount. The situation with our ICT infrastructure hasn't changed. We solicit support and guidance on this matter. With regard to other projects, the Institute's Heritage Sites and Monuments project, spearheaded by Reverend Professor Philip Lai and Reverend Dr. Ernest Afifa Anane, is ongoing. Though interrupted by the pandemic, the team were able to put together an initial documentary that they shared at an international conference hosted by the Institute. One project that has been in our strategic document for some time was given impetus during the past academic year. ACI has faced financial challenges throughout virtually its whole existence, but the Lord has remained faithful throughout. The fundraising committee, which in this context has been set up was formally inaugurated at our regular Wednesday morning devotion on 2nd June 2021 by the Vice Chairman of the ACI Council, who on this occasion also stands in for the chairman, namely Dr. Victor Okun. The committee is made up of members of the ACI family, chaired by Dr. Sulisa, and two people that we want to acknowledge and thank for their readiness to serve on this committee. And these are Professor Noel Tego and Mrs. Comfort Okran, an alumna of the Institute. We have been Chancellor, let me move on to human resource matters. Staff attrition at the Institute has been a bane for years now, mainly because the Institute's salaries are not competitive. It is, however, not the case that everybody who has left the service of the Institute has done so for financial reasons. Reverend Dr. Ernestina Friye, Chaplain and Dean of Students and Director, Center for Gospel and Culture Engagement, brought her full-time service at the Institute to a close due to circumstances beyond her control. Mr. Benjamin Yamua, Advancing Officer, Mr. Rubin Sa, Archival Officer, both also left the service of the Institute for family reasons. And at the end of the year, Mr. Abraham Essel, Assistant Finance Officer, will also be departing from the service of the Institute. We are saddened by all these departures, but we wish all these ACI family members well in their future endeavors. While colleagues depart from the Institute, others are appointed to the service of the Lord at the Institute. With the departure of Reverend Dr. Afiye, Very Reverend Dr. James Walton was appointed Chaplain and Dean of Students. He has, however, proceeded on sabbatical leave, and therefore, Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Blasu is acting for him and chairing a reconstituted chaplaincy committee made up of Reverend Dr. Ernest Afifa Anane as Assistant Chaplain, Dr. Vela Ingaina, Edem Jamishi, and Reverend Alfred Kwatin. Dr. Vela Temko Ingaina from Kenya and Dr. Robert Agumens, fresh graduates of the Institute, were appointed by the Institute Council as research fellows effective 1st July 2021. We also have a new Assistant Publications Officer in the person of Ms. Benedicta Danso. We are glad to warmly welcome all these new appointees and look forward to their faithful service to the Lord here at the Institute. Finally, Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our gratitude to the Lord that in him our labor has not been in vain. Even though Reverend Dr. Ernestina Friye left the full-time service of ACI, I wish to thank her most sincerely for her faithful service over 23 years and for her readiness to continue to serve the Institute. It is significant that she has agreed to serve the Institute at no cost to the Institute, and she has already started doing so. God richly bless her. On 16th April, the moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Right Reverend Professor J.O.Y. Mante, paid a working visit to ACI. He met and interacted with the ACI community. He donated 50,000 Ghana cedis to the Institute on behalf of the PCG. We are grateful to him and to the PCG for the unprecedented support we continue to receive from the church under his leadership. I wish to reiterate our gratitude to the three-man team of the Registrar, the Dean of Accredited Studies, and the Director of ICT for their continuing role in the Institute's effort at delivery of programs in hybrid form. We also thank Mark William Soji and Edem Jameshi, our ICT team members, for providing the technical support for all ACI programs, both on and off-site. Staff of the library and the registry deserve our gratitude as well for their help in operating in the online mode. Indeed, all staff of the Institute must be commended for their contributions to the service of the Institute in the past year. You have been immovable and steadfast in your service in the past academic year, and your work in the Lord has not been in vain. We remain grateful to both our local and international partners. We mention with appreciation faithful partners like Living Hope Trust and Transforming Leadership Incorporated, both of Australia, Keknate of the Netherlands, EMW of Germany, Scholar Leaders of the USA, Horizon Education Network, and Langham Partnership. May the Lord continue to bless and prosper the work of their hands. As we thank various partners, we must also thank God for the lives of members of the ACI family that God, in his wisdom, has called to eternal rest. We mourn together the passing of alumni Reverend Genesis Werku, a Presbyterian of the church in Cameroon, and Reverend Benjamin Avo, a Baptist from Nigeria. In the past academic year, we were also informed about the passing of the pioneer chairman of the Board of Trustees of ACI, Dr. Emmanuel Ivan Samfon. That occurred on 7th April. A delegation that included, among others, the chairman of council paid a visit to the family to commiserate with them. The Institute had the privilege to write a tribute in his memory and was represented at the burial service on 13th May. We are grateful for the life and service of Dr. Ivan Samfon and continue to pray for his family and loved ones. ACI's beloved Professor Andrew Walls passed away peacefully on 12 August 2021. We held an ACI community devotion in his honor on 18th August, and most members of the ACI family by virtual means participated in his burial service on 27th August 2021. Some members of the family, including the rector and deputy rector, wrote tributes in his memory. Our prayers continue for his widow, Dr. Ingrid Reno Walls, who remains part of the ACI family. May I, Chancellor, Sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, humbly request that we all be upstanding for a minute's silence in memory of these men, especially our pioneers, Dr. Emmanuel Ivan Samfon and Professor Andrew Walls. May the souls of our dear ones and all the faithful departed rest in perfect peace. Please be seated. Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a year ago, in my address, I had to extend our condolences to our Chancellor, Professor Ablade Glover, because he had lost his dear wife, Mrs. Leonora Eresi Glover. As we remember her, I wish to acknowledge and thank the Chancellor and his family for their donation of 100,000 Ghana cedis to sponsor the annual Theology and the Arts Symposium to be run by the Center for Primal and Christian Spirituality, CPAX. As we know, our Chancellor is a world-renowned artist. Mrs. Glover was much involved in the running of the art gallery at Umanyi House, Adla. We are deeply grateful to the Chancellor and his family and pledge to ensure Mrs. Glover's memory will be immortalized in the running of this new Leonora Eresi Glover Symposium on Theology and the Arts. Oh, we are not grateful. Chancellor, our guest speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while condolences are apt for some members of the ACI family, congratulations are also appropriate for all those who graduate today. We thank God that their steadfastness and unshakable commitment to their work of study in the Lord here at ACI have borne fruit in their graduation today. May your continuing labor in the Lord never be in vain as you depart the walls of ACI, and may you be worthy ambassadors of the Institute